What's up, family? Man, I want to continue on with our conversation today about Moby Dick being one of the greatest psychological books ever written. You know what I mean? One of the greatest books on shadow work, the human mind. Today we're going to focus on brain fart. We're focused on feeling inadequate. And it's true because when you look at the book or you look at the movie, Captain Ahab, he had an encounter with Moby Dick and he lost his leg. And all he was left with was a stump. And that made him feel inadequate. And it's true because so many of us have gone through something in our life that's made us feel inadequate. Made us feel like we weren't worthy. Made us feel like we weren't good enough. We didn't deserve to be loved. We didn't deserve to be happy. Something was wrong with us. We didn't deserve to have peace of mind, joy, happiness, or any of those other things. We wanted a family, and for whatever reason, we didn't feel like we were worthy of a family. We wanted a kid, and for whatever reason, we didn't feel like we deserved one, or we was worthy of the love. What happened in your life to make you feel inadequate? What happened in your life to make you feel like, man, you're not good enough? You'll never be good enough. No matter what you do, there'll always be something not wrong with you. Or there'll always be something wrong with you. And it's a trip because, go back to my late wife. And I've shared the story plenty times before. We were at work one day and was sitting in her car. And she had three sons. And she had a belly. And she didn't have a belly, but she just had like the scars. She had 3 C-sections and she had the scar on her stomach. And for whatever reason, she couldn't lose that little bit of tiny fat right there. It wasn't nothing at all, but she couldn't lose that at all. And it traumatized her. It made her feel like she wasn't worthy. It made her feel like she wasn't beautiful. It made her feel like her whole life was collapsing down around her. She had a great job, great vehicle, 3 great kids. You know what I mean? We had a great relationship. But it was something about her stomach that made her feel like, man, she wasn't beautiful. And it messed her up. It messed her up bad. And it's true because so often in life, we'll go through something and something worse has to happen before we let things go. What am I saying? So me and Cecilia were talking one day and I was trying to understand the trauma associated with, the C-section and the scar there and why it plagued her so much. And I was sitting there and I was talking to her and it's like, man, you're coming across as so ungrateful right now. You know what I mean? You look around at all the things God has blessed you with. And all you have to be mad about, all you have to be, pissed off about, if that is your stomach, nobody sees it. Nobody could tell it, that you have this by your clothes. You know what I mean? You're beautiful, blah, 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 blah. What are you tripping on? You know what I mean? And she was so messed up, stay with me, I'm going somewhere. And I was like, man, what is going to have to happen for you to let this go? What is God going to have to do to you to get your attention? Are you going to have to get in a car accident and your face be disfigured? Are you going to have to be cooking at home one day and a gas fire or something blows up in your face and now your face is burnt on one side? What's going to happen to you to make you let this go? Because this has a hold of your life. A little while later, she was rushed to the hospital. Probably like 5 months later, she was rushed to the hospital. She had a grapefruit-sized tumor sitting on her lungs. And so we're sitting there, it's like, oh my God, we didn't know if it was cancerous or what, right? And so they rushed her to the University, California, San Francisco Medical Center. And they had her up there 10 days, did the procedure, cut it out and everything. It wasn't cancerous. But now she has a big scar on her back where they went in. And that messed her up too. It was like, oh my God, she still didn't get it. You know what I mean? She still didn't get the clue. You know what I mean? She still didn't get the message. Stay with me. We're talking about feeling inadequate. She still didn't get it, you know? And it's like nothing I said, nothing I did made her feel adequate. And so that's the thing. You can't make somebody feel adequate who wants to feel inadequate. You can't make somebody happy who don't want to be happy. You can't give somebody peace and joy who don't want peace and joy. That's all an internal thing. And so many of us, we lose our mind trying to bring people peace and happiness and joy. And we can't understand how come you can't have peace and joy. And I'm trying to do. And so you can't give them that. You cannot. You could be the most beautiful, loving, compassionate, nurturing, caring, and giving person in the world. But if they feel inadequate, you can't change that for them. No matter how much you try, no matter what you do, you're not going to be able to change that for them. And so Cecilia and I were talking and just like, man, what's going on? You know what I mean? And I'm trying to understand, God, what is it? Why can't she just get this? A few months later, after they had the cancer, after they found out about the tumor, maybe a couple years later, she goes to the doctor, and we find out that she has stage 4 breast cancer. She's still tripping off her stomach. But now she has stage 4 breast cancer. Cecilia didn't like getting undressed in front of me. She went through some stuff with her ex-husband, and it messed her up. And so now she don't like getting dressed in front of anybody. She don't like getting dressed with the lights on, you know what I mean? Any of that stuff, right? And so now with the cancer cauliflowered in her breast. It opened up, and you can see like the meat and just everything in her left breast. Same thing happened up under her left underarm. And so now she didn't mind walking around with her stomach out. She would wear a summer dress, and she would have it pulled up over her shoulder, and so that her breast could air out because of the cauliflower, the cancer. And the same thing with the tumor that she had under here that opened up as well. And now she don't mind showing her stomach. And I'm sitting there and I'm crying. And I'm thinking to myself, man, this is what it took for you to not to care about me seeing your stomach anymore. This is what it's come down to. I didn't say this is what I'm having, the conversation I'm having in my head, and I'm heartbroken. And I'm sitting there looking at my wife knowing that, it's just a matter of time before she passed away. And I'm heartbroken, and I'm so frustrated and just confused and just like, God, why? Why did it have to come to this? Now she has her breast out in the open. I mean, we're in the privacy of our own home, but she wouldn't do that in the past. She didn't want me to see her belly, none of that stuff. Now it's all fair. She didn't mind it now. And I'm sitting there and I'm looking at her and I'm crying on the inside. And I get up and I walk outside. I'm talking about feeling inadequate, stay with me. And I get up and I walk outside. And the tears are coming down my eyes. I can't hold it back anymore. I'm broken and sobbing and just shook to my bones. I'm literally shaking, mad and angry and crying out to God. Why? Why? For her, it took getting breast cancer and then opening up. And pus and all this other stuff is just coming out. And she's having to put bandages on it, and she's making concoctions with cinnamon and lavender and all these other different essential oils to kill the smell. And you can smell death. Everywhere she went, the smell from the cancer, it was death. And she was so embarrassed by it. And I'm outside talking to God, crying and having a heart-to-heart with God. Why? Why couldn't she just listen? Why did it have to come to this point? And God had to show me something. He said, Elijah, it ain't about you. It was never about you. You could never make her feel loved. You could never make her feel like she was all that. Because she was hurt. And she felt inadequate. No matter what you did, no matter what you said, she felt inadequate. And this is me getting her attention. You told her that it was going to come to this. And she didn't listen. She didn't believe you. And now she does. Elijah, everybody has to go through their own journey. Going back to the book. Moby Dick. I'm trying to grab it. Going back to the book. This other captain gets on the ship. And he sees Ahab's leg or his stump. And he thinks, man, we have a common bond. I lost my arm to the same whale that you lost your leg to. That makes us brothers. Man, he's so happy about his stump. It gave him such a renewed sense of life. He's so grateful, so positive. Captain Ahab is not. He's angry. He's pissed. He feels less than. He feels like he's been robbed, like he's been cheated, like life has been unfair to him. And the trip is, man, his ship had came across so many whales at this one time. Whales were everybody was killing whales. Whales were all around them. That's what they went out to sea for. Whale hunting. They had whales coming up on the ship, whales at the water just waiting to be lifted up. There were so many whales around them. That was their purpose. And Captain Ahab, in his anger, in the fact that he felt inadequate, none of the whales meant anything to him. None of the money meant anything to him. He wanted Moby Dick. He wanted what he couldn't have. And he gave up everything to get what he couldn't have. It cost him his life. It cost him the life of all of his crew members, except for one. Pursuing what he couldn't have. Because he thought if he killed Moby Dick, that would make him the man. that would redeem him. And he lost his life. Cecilia passed away from breast cancer. There's so many of us, something has happened to us in our past. And it stunted our growth and development. It made us get stuck right there. Traumatized. Or we couldn't move any further. What is it that's happened to you that's made you feel inadequate? What is it that's happened to you that made you feel like you wasn't shit? That nobody was going to love you? That you weren't worthy of being happy? You wasn't good enough to be happy. You wasn't good enough to have peace and joy. What is it that happened to you that messed you up emotionally? We've all gone through things in life. And the trip is, for some people, they see that trauma, they see that pain as the catalyst to make them change, to become more loving, more passionate, more grateful, more alive. And other people, they'll go through the exact same thing. And they'll become so toxic, so bitter, so hateful. Feeling less than, feeling unworthy. Where are you at in your life? Where are you at in your journey? Do you feel invalidated? Do you feel inadequate? And it's a trip because there's so many guys that are single. And they want a queen. But for whatever reason, they don't think they can have one. There's so many women that are single, that are looking for, man, their perfect king. And they don't think that they're going to find him. And so you got all these people wanting something, but feeling like they can't have it. Feeling like it ain't meant for them. Something has to be wrong with them. And then some people sit back and go, well, nothing wrong with me. It's all these other sorry motherfuckers. Guys ain't shit no more. Ain't no real men left. And guys got on the same thing about women. Ain't no real women left. These bitches are just hoes and and gold diggers, just tramps and and thoughts. We have all these different things that we say to justify the fact that we feel inadequate. We can't get the job we want. And so we blame the white man. We blame corporate America. We blame the Hispanics. We blame the Asians. We blame the blacks. We blame everybody but ourselves. It's the Democrats' fault. It's Donald Trump's fault. It's the Republicans' fault. It's everybody else's fault. As to why I feel inadequate. What is it that makes you inadequate? Do you even know? Do you even understand that that can change? You don't have to feel inadequate. You don't have to feel less than. Nobody can make you feel adequate. Nobody can make you feel like you're all that. Nobody. And the trip is, we let all these things make us feel inadequate. Captain Ahab, it was a stomp for a leg that made him feel inadequate. And no matter how much his crew pumped him up, no matter how much everybody praised him, he felt inadequate. My late wife Cecilia, no matter how much people talked about how pretty she was, how beautiful she was, how smart she was, and all that other stuff, it didn't matter to her. In her mind, she was scarred. In her mind, she was inadequate because she was scarred. And nobody could make her feel any different. Nobody can make you feel any different. Nobody. Because that's not anybody else's job. That's not anybody else's responsibility. That's not anybody else's purpose to make you feel something that you don't feel. That's something you have to do for yourself. That's an understanding or realization that you have to come in within yourself. Nobody can do that for you. You're not going to find a king and he's going to make you feel like you're all that if you don't feel like you're all that in the first place. You're not going to find a queen that's going to make you feel like you a bag of chips and all that. You know what I mean? Unless you feel like that in the first place. It's true. We jump in relationships and we're thinking and hoping that these people are going to make it. And no matter what they do to break their back for you, it's never going to be good enough. It's never going to be enough. They could give you the world and it still won't make you feel loved. It still won't give you peace. Still won't give you joy. It still won't take away that inadequate feeling you have. There's so many people that have become very successful. Actors, sports players, entertainers, all of that. No matter how much money they had, they still felt inadequate. And the truth is, all money does is make you feel more inadequate. All fame does is make you feel more inadequate. There's so many guys that I've talked to that are in prison now in California, and I'm sure all over, man, that they had money. But now they didn't know if the girls liked them for who they were or if the girls just wanted to be with them because of their money and the things that their money could provide. They felt inadequate right off the rip because they were overweight or whatever the case may be. They felt inadequate. Now they got money. And now they got all these people trying to hang around them. All these people trying to be groupies. All these people trying to associate and be part of the crew. And in the back of their mind, they're thinking, they're loving the attention, but their inadequacy within them is making them feel like, man, it's not even real. I don't know if these people really love me or if they're just trying to get close to me to get what I have. I don't know if this girl really likes me. Why would she want to be with me? She's so pretty and she could have any guy she wanted, and why is she hanging out with me? Why is she doing all this for me? Because they felt inadequate. Man, my hope and prayer is that I've said something to empower, to uplift, to inspire, to encourage you. to do the work. And we'll go more into doing the work in our live stream Saturday when we talk about shadow work and chakras. Man, my beautiful queen and I, we love you guys. Happy healing.